Good morning. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Aasima and I'm going to be the moderator for today. We are living in a time where information is available everywhere. You just have to click once, you get multiple responses, you have so many courses, you have so many degrees to dive into. But yet, still, our youth is so confused. And that's exactly the point. Information is present everywhere, fact. But the right information from the right person at the right time might change your whole perspective of how you see your career. So we have many students who are confused, who are rolling over the same question right now. What am I learning? The education that I'm consuming today, is it actually shaping me for the future or just training me for a past that doesn't matter? And that is exactly the question we have today. On the other hand, we have global collaborations, renovations, we have innovations and research which is coming up, which can entirely change the way we work and build on ourselves. So, this is the question for today. How can we train our youth just not to pass in the exam, but to success in the changing world, and also to convert the education into meaningful opportunities? So, this is exactly what we are going to unfold in today's conversation. Welcome to Board Facts. Today, we are accompanied by two amazing guests. We are accompanied by Dr. Oteibi, who is not just a doctor. She is mastered in research, development, education, law, and many other places. It creates a unique perception about.
Welcome.
Also accompanied by Mr. Yasin Ahmed. He has worked closely with students, and his perspective about education is beyond the classroom. So, looking into the conversation, we are going to start with a brief about our guest information. Thank you.
Explainer. If you've ever wondered how high-level, cutting-edge academic research actually makes its way down to the people who need it the absolute most on the ground, well, we've got a seriously fascinating case study for you today. We're going to look at exactly what happens when two totally distinct leaders decide to merge their unique strengths to tackle a massive modern challenge.
Okay, let's dive into this. How do we connect global expertise with local opportunity? Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But creating real, systemic educational solutions across international borders, that is a highly complex puzzle. Today, we're breaking down how one truly unique collaboration is building a bridge to close that exact gap.
The global healthcare innovator. To really grasp the sheer power of this partnership, we first need to look at the expert at the helm, Dr. Majd Oteibi. And her background, it's absolutely extensive. As the CEO and Director of Clinical Research at Validus Institute Inc., her credentials span across medicine, health science, and clinical research. But the degrees, they're really only half the story here.
Her whole journey is just an incredible study in resilience. After earning her medical degree and completing her residency, she migrated to the US, effectively having to rebuild her career right from the ground up. And she didn't just rebuild. She layered a master's in health law right on top of her clinical background, pursued clinical research training at Harvard Medical School, and then capped the whole thing off with a PhD from Drexel University. Every single step she took was a deliberate fusion of clinical practice, law, and high-level research. And her drive for education is deeply, deeply personal. It actually stems from her parents, who founded schools in Kuwait. They instilled these core principles of learning, service, discipline, and community impact in her. These are the exact values she used to transform the massive challenges of starting over into opportunities to literally lift other people up. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how she applies all of this. She doesn't just sit up in an ivory tower somewhere, she translates that dense academic background into tangible, on-the-ground action. Leading numerous clinical trials, mentoring the next generation of healthcare professionals, utilizing innovative patient health technologies, and constantly pushing evidence-based healthcare forward by publishing peer-reviewed articles and speaking at global conferences. Ultimately, all of this funnels right into advocacy, whether she's championing cancer research, fighting for maternal and child health, or focusing on direct patient advocacy. Dr. Oteibi views education and healthcare not just as jobs or professions. For her, they are absolutely critical tools to advance human potential.
Section 2, Championing Student Empowerment. Okay, so to deploy that massive level of global expertise, you need a serious catalyst on the ground. Meet Yassine Ahmed, the founder and CEO of Aider Digital. While Dr. Oteibi is navigating complex clinical trials over in the US, Yassine is operating right at the grassroots level in India, and he is laser-focused on student empowerment and practical skill development.
Yassine's methodology for preparing young people for the real world is highly pragmatic. It's a clear three-step process. First, he partners directly with educational institutions. But then, rather than just dwelling on theory, Step 2 pivots straight into developing career-oriented skills. And Step 3? Actively connecting those learners with emerging opportunities. He's building a true, reliable pipeline straight to the workforce.
So the crucial point is moving beyond traditional classroom learning. Yassine completely recognizes that today's modern workforce demands industry-ready graduates, not just people who have read the textbooks. His entire mission is to facilitate that practical, hands-on industry exposure. Section 3, Bridging Global and Local.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when these two phenomenal forces join. You have Validus Institute in the USA bringing world-class clinical research training and high-level global expertise, meeting Aider Digital in India with its localized career development and direct line to local opportunity. You combine that massive institutional weight with grassroots agility, and man, the pieces just fit together perfectly.
Together, they have forged a brand new pathway. Because of this collaboration, students and professionals no longer have to navigate these impossible geographic barriers. Now they can seamlessly access a bundled ecosystem of world-class education, top-tier clinical research training, and robust career development programs all in one place.
They are quite literally bridging global expertise with local opportunity. And this connection between the US and India, it isn't just some symbolic gesture. It is a directly engineered solution that fuses those high-level values of service and learning we talked about earlier with real, ground-level, practical momentum.
Think about the sheer scale of this for a second. Top-tier, global, research resilience merging with practical, on-the-ground career pipelines. It completely changes the landscape of what is possible. So I'll leave you with this. What new pathways could a global educational collaboration like this open up for your future?
So we would like to dive into the conversation. I would love to start with you, Dr. Oteibi. So my first question is, welcome to the podcast, ma'am.
Thank you.
So my first question to you is, you have mastered in many areas, such as in clinical research, in medicine and law development, and many more areas. So I want to know, what is something that has inspired you for pursuing this lifelong education?
First of all, I want to start by thanking you for inviting me to this podcast. And what inspired me, as you shared in the video, are my parents. They're the staple of the educational foundation that they inspired in me. They instilled in me the passion for learning at a young age, because even in the summer, we did not just go out on vacation or sit to watch TV. That was a no-no. We were forced to join summer camps. And as young students and teenagers, of course, we didn't like that. But it was something that was forced upon us. And at the time, we didn't appreciate it. But growing up, we really found the great benefit. So to come back to your answer to your question, my parents were the ones who inspired me. They developed that passion early on, and they advised me at a young age. It's not only about earning a degree, it's about also following your passion and continuing to learn and continuing to evolve. Because as you shared, medicine, science, and technology are always evolving. And we have a responsibility to continue to grow with them. So we're not really teaching people old stuff or, stuff that's outdated. And that's my inspiration.
Thank you, ma'am. That's so inspiring. So you have lived and worked across different countries and also got educated and known their culture. So I would like to know, how did that help opening opportunities for you, or how did that help shaping your education?
So, first of all, it's me staying focused on my passion, which is learning and growing. And with every learning experience, you grow in a different way. Some of it in the sciences, some of it is building capacity, building agility, because as you know, and as many of the viewers know, learning sciences, whether it's medicine, clinical medicine, research, or completing a Harvard program or even the PhD, are not an easy walk in the park. They require agility, hard work, and stamina. And being also a wife and a mom myself and a caretaker, and also working full time at the time, I also had to learn about building newer skills, which is time management, balancing between work and home and all of these. So those experiences helped build my personality to become more resilient, more perseverant, and stay focused. And that's what I want to also advise viewers and future generation students. Stay focused, stay resilient, regardless of what obstacles you face. And as you also asked me, learning opportunities, earning degrees is only the beginning. We also have a mission of what do we do after that. It's not only, having an office. We have to also think about our next generation, future generation, and also people that we are associated with, whether it's relatives, friends, or other people, living abroad or even in the US, who face a lot of inequalities and disparities. So that's where we need to spread, and that's where my mission came in, where I share my knowledge even for free, and I also educate and help raise awareness, whether it's about opportunities, education, or research, or other than that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, is it that students who study abroad get more opportunities, or the same students who study in their hometown get the same opportunities, or is there a gap between them?
See, that's a big question because it depends, first of all, on what is considered your home. If you are a local US person that's home to you, then the opportunities are vast and big. If you are a person who lives in Gulf countries or even in India, and you are privileged to be born to rich parents, they can afford to send you to the best colleges, most expensive education, and so on. So definitely for those people, that is not going to probably make a difference. But what I'm looking at is when we bridge the gap between local opportunities for people who are the average person, someone who is just born to an average area, or someone who is living in an underserved community or community with lower resources and lower means, then yes, for those people, having a global opportunity will improve their chances. And having local education, unfortunately, will also digress and minimize their chances. Because again, of the less access, less opportunities, could be barriers to transportation, to the facility itself, to the educational program itself, or even to finances.
Okay, so let's assume that a person studied in India and a person studied in abroad. Who is more likely to get a better job, even while having the same skills? Both of them have the same skills, but who's more likely to get a better job?
Yes, it's, I don't want to say unfortunately. I myself live in the US and I'm proud to be here. It's people who live in the US, because US has the best technology, the best educational system, and also the most advanced educational system. We have the best world-class researchers, physicians, educators, and resources, highly advanced technology. So no one can beat the US. Of course, many educational programs overseas are trying to mimic what the US is doing. But to answer your question in simple ways, definitely people who are doing their education in the US and completing that in the US have a higher opportunity when they go back home to their country.
Is your perspective on how can we bridge the gap and change this? How can people studying even in India while having the same skills get better opportunities? Do you have any idea or plans on that?
Absolutely. And that's where actually the collaboration between my institute, Validus Institute, and Aider Academy actually came about, is because now after COVID-19, many things became digital. So you could study online, take classes online, have this podcast online, meet people online. So that actually the digital health and the digital access improved education. It also improved patient care. And so that collaboration between Validus and ADIR is what's going to bridge that gap, because now we can provide the education with US standards and accreditation to globally, and also to people living in India. All what you need is a device and internet connection and the will to learn, and then you have that opportunity as an educational, practical education.
Okay, so in India, we have a lot of students we are only following traditional way of learning. So what is your perspective? Should we move from traditional way of learning and go towards a student-centered learning? What do you prefer, a traditional learning or a student-centered learning?
That's a big question, and I'm going to be biased in answering this because I come from a family of educators, as you shared, my parents. So I definitely followed the traditional path for a very long time, but I also looked outside of the box and followed the non traditional learning path. So, given the economic turmoil and given the economic hardships that we live in, of course, I will never advise anyone against traditional learning, but I also would encourage people to look at practical, hands on building skills, learning that can take you directly to the job. And that's actually what's going to bring you money. And this is mainly for people who don't have the stamina to learn or earn a master's or a PhD, or for people who want to build skills, have skills that's going to offer them a good, comfortable job, and they don't want to go to school like 4 years, 6 years, all of that. So definitely the certificate programs that we offer, excuse me, the certificate programs that we offer at Validus Institute are these types of practical hands-on learning, and they are the stepping stone to people who want to get a degree or who want to get a certificate, and they can apply it to the work after they graduate immediately. So definitely the hands-on practical training is a good stepping stone for people who are looking for an education, but at the same time finding a comfortable paying job in their local societies or communities.
Okay. So, how do we train our students not only to just pass in exams, but also to make use of their education and create meaningful opportunities out of them? What is your
Yes, by
perspective on
building these programs, like I shared, at Validus Institute, I offer the HIPAA training for people who handle patient data and for people who handle any kind of protected information, health information. And the HIPAA program that I teach at Validus is an accredited program. And I also offer the research coordinator training. This one is a 6 months program, and that's a new program that we're going to be rolling very soon. And it's a program that we are collaborating with ADIR on, where we provide at Validus the educational background for 3 months, 12 weeks. And then the students will have another 12 weeks of capstone where ADIR will assign them to different clinical sites according to the students' passion, whether they want to be research in women health, whether they want to be research on eye health or any other diseases or other areas. So learning hands-on skills, the certificates that are provided through Validus is a good stepping stone. And, the collaboration between Validus Institute and ADIR are important to help achieve that.
Okay, so education is important at the same time, and we have to also build skills side by side, is your perspective.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I shared. Build hands-on skills, and the education has to be practical. That's what I'm talking about, hands-on skills and building practical skills that you will take immediately to work. It's not like you have to learn a lot of theory for 2, 3 years. That is, half of it is not going to really be useful at the end. And then by the time you graduate, the standards would have changed. These programs are practical, hands-on programs that are specifically built for people who are wanting to learn, have a good foundation in the perspective area that they want to learn, and then they take it to the workplace. And this learning is always student-centered. I'm also a professor at National University, and we believe in student-centered learning at the university, and I apply that to all my basically it's part of my lifestyle and my personality, because when you're offering student-centered education, you're focusing on the student, making sure you tailor the educational delivery to what they absorb and how it's going to work for them, because the success of the student is what's going to drive the success of the program. And it's important for me to see that all my students succeed. So I always teach them practical skills, hands-on skills that they can apply. Of course, they have to build the theory with that, and that's where the tailoring and student-centered approach comes in.
So, what is exactly translational learning, ma'am? You have mentioned it many times, and what is it helpful for us in today's generation?
So when we're talking about translational learning, it's basically students take the learning that they applied and that they took from the school or from the classroom to the real world. They apply it to real world problems, to real scenarios. During the educational experience and the course, we teach students real case scenarios, real professional cases and studies, and students have to learn that. They also have to work on team project where they work together as a team and build hands-on skill, learn how to work together as a team, and at the same time they build these skills and take it to the workplace. So that's what translational learning means, that it's applied to real world problems and real world people in professional
Okay.
settings.
So,
Yeah.
what gaps do you think which currently exist in in university teaching and industrial expectations?
So the gap is that it's more theory based. And thankfully, many of the institutions now, and of course, I'm not the best person to speak about this, but I'm only sharing my personal opinion, is that the gap is that it's most focused on theory, not practical approaches. And I think that's where the change needs to happen, because after COVID, everything changed. And also the delivery of the education changed and people perspectives changed. So definitely the theory focus is not a thing that students in our day-to-day, especially adult learners, especially non-traditional learners, that's not something they want to see, because it takes away from them learning and building skills that they really need to use in the real workforce.
Okay. So, coming to the clinical research field, ma'am. So, many of us, okay, we know much about medicine, but about clinical research, I myself as a student got to know when I joined IDA. I didn't know about clinical research. So, there are many students like me who didn't know about clinical research. So, can you just tell us what exactly is clinical research and what are the opportunities which are present in this field for us today?
Sure. Clinical research, basically, it's about, learning new skills and applying them to a health field. I work on women health, for example, applying those new skills and testing them to see if they actually work. You develop a theory, you develop a question, a hypothesis, and then you want to test to see if that works or not. Then you do a clinical trial, or it could be even just a research where you look at different data mechanisms to check for an observation, whether it's, pregnancy rate, whether it could be, eye disease, it could be, why women are having a lot of miscarriages in a certain neighborhood. So you are studying a problem. For that, you're developing a question, and then you are trying to investigate it, by following through on your question and the problem. And clinical research is a big word. There is many avenues to it. And at the Validus Institute, we teach the basics for you to understand what is allowed and what are the regulatory components in clinical research. How can you benefit from research, and how can you take it further to the next step? Whether you want to become a clinical research coordinator, whether you want to become a data analyst, whether you want to become an ethics in clinical research, ethics specialist, or even just research assistant, and many others. So clinical research is the big umbrella for the research that we do, whether it could be in healthcare and education and marketing. There's many avenues. I myself specialize in healthcare, and that's why I teach these courses that are focused on healthcare. But I do offer a lot of other community building research orientation programs as well. So students begin at entry-level
So
roles,
for
and then
someone
they
who wants
progress
to become
depending
a
on
clinical
their
researcher,
desire
what
and
education
inspiration.
should they pursue actually?
Sorry? Can you repeat?
For someone who wants to become a clinical researcher, what education should they pursue, even in US or even in India? And is there a difference between the education which they pursue?
Yes. So definitely, if you want to become a research coordinator, it's good to have a research coordinator either experience or become a research or take a research coordinator course. And that's what I offer at Validus Institute, the Research Coordinator Training Program, which is 6 months total. And this one is going to build the students on every aspects and foundation that is needed for research knowledge, understanding, HIPAA compliance, understanding good human practice, understanding how to handle data, understanding what are different clinical research designs, what are the different types of research. All of that we teach, and definitely my advice is for students to join a program, whether ours or a different program, of course. But I'm biased. I like people to join my program, so definitely I advise everyone who is interested to become a research coordinator to study and take a coordinator program in any different capacity that they can afford. Definitely taking the program in the US is more beneficial because it's more advanced. There's a lot of regulations and rules that we have to follow in the US. So you know that you will be receiving high class program and teaching. And at the same time, in the US, there's also a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of regulations. So definitely will receive high class. What we provide at Validus Institute, again, with the collaboration of ADIR, is the digital platform. So now students from India can take these courses online without having to travel to the US. So I think that's a big advantage and a big plus for students, for anyone actually listening to this podcast and anyone living in India who has interest and passion to learn about research but don't know how to approach it. So that's where the gap comes in, and that's how we're bridging that gap at Validus.
Okay, understood. So now coming to HIPAA. HIPAA is a word which is very unfamiliar to the generation now. So can you exactly tell us what is HIPAA and what values it holds now?
So as I shared earlier, definitely, Validus Institute is accredited to provide HIPAA. And HIPAA basically is an abbreviation that stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which was established by President then Bill Clinton in 1996, actually August 20th. And it's a federal law that forces everyone who handles patient data to handle it with protection and privacy. So HIPAA is a very important component of not only research, but any people who are dealing with patient data or protected health information. And that's where the HIPAA training comes in. I offer that. It's an accredited program. We offer multiple avenues of this program. I recently completed a batch also through the collaboration of ADIR at the 6-week training of HIPAA. And this Monday, all the students who completed the program successfully will receive their certificate. So that's a good example of students living in India, completing the program, by meeting once a week and following on the assignments and the instructions and the projects given to them. And then after they complete everything successfully, they earn that degree and, of course, satisfactorily completed it. So that's what HIPAA stands for. And again, it teaches people how to deal with patient data, how to also deal with patient privacy, data security, and also who has access and the minimal use standard. So all of these things students learn during this program.
So, ma'am, it was a great time talking to you. I would like to end it with the last question. So, what is one information that you want to give, or one advice you want to give to today's youth watching you?
Yes, absolutely. The one thing I want to give to people is there's never a good time to do anything. So if you want to do something, just do it. And the other thing is that take advantage of these opportunities. It's a digital platform, so you don't have to walk, drive, or take any transportation. Everything is provided online. If you have passion for learning about research, earning a degree or a certificate, and at the same time having better opportunity in your local environment, definitely the research clinical training is a great opportunity, and it's in collaboration with ADIR, so you can also have all your questions answered by the US team or the Indian team. So again, act on your dreams. Don't just wait for the right time to come. Thank you.
That was a very informative conversation, ma'am. So, thank you. And I hope all the students who are seeing this conversation had a great impact on them. So, I'll
I
move
hope.
forward to dive into the conversation with Yasin, sir. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Welcome and thank you so much, ma'am, for the information you provided for the complete and the people watching out today. And thank you, Aasima.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's begin with the question, sir. So, when you interact with students, what is the one thing that they say repeatedly about career preparation?
Okay. Most of the time, I have the very close relationship with the students. When I visit the college or any conference or schools, the youngsters in the classroom are most confused with the career path. As ma'am told, learning in the classrooms is only with the books, not in practical knowledge. Practical knowledge is only provided after your education is done. This is the education system where the students are lagging out. They doesn't have the practical knowledge, where they are only mugging up with the books. This is the fact reality what the students have the conversation with me. With the students are openly telling that they are only and also believe the problem of the student in sense students are making decisions on their results where they are not following their passion. Any student bringing down 80%, 90%, 95% of result in 10th standard or higher education, after the results he's making his life career or deciding what higher education to be done down. He is not having the passion or he's not having the dream, goal oriented theme or plan for the future part before his results or exam. Schools are worried about the results, parents are worried about the results, and also students are worried about the results. What is the student doing actually for themselves? Teachers are happy if the student is submitting them the assignments. Parents are happy if the students are bringing 95, 90% or n number of the result, higher good result. What about the student? Is my question to the young youth today. What about the student? This is what the student talk to me in the conversation in the colleges and schools when I go visit them and speak them and tell them what actually IDET does. And the students are suffering with this problem where they are not being taught or told before they step into the higher education. that the difficulties if they want to become a doctor, the difficulties if they want to become an engineer, the difficulties they want to become a businessman. They doesn't know the scenario after 5 years of education. In today's young generation, Gen Z people, the normal average education provided by the parents for 1 year is average and about 1 lakh. To my question to the parents and also for the young youth, that from the first standard to taking a graduate, a BCom, BBA or BCA or any degree is complete 15 years of the time to a student to come out of a degree. Parents investing their money, time, energy, and student investing their complete education lifespan for 15 years, and they are going out and titled as a fresher, is my basic question to you people. Why? A student must know when he's done his 10th or 8th or 9th standard, the schooling is completed, must be taught or told by the parents or by the student teachers or any schooling that what is his problem, what are the problems coming down for his professional career. We agree that he's completely scoring 90%, 100%, but he is not told to be top one. He was getting 100% in professional life, not talking about the college life or school life. What about the professional life? Parents are giving and investing a lot of amount on the kid students, thinking that he's gonna have the greatest life. As a fresher, everyone in India knows that no company is paying you more than 30K. I told the highest amount I maybe believe. People are getting 30 lakhs per annum package, but how many? If the average strength is 100, hardly 2 or 3. What about 98 and 97 student? This all cannot happen only with your education. Strong belief in yourself. Hard work is always a hard work. And skills matters a lot than your knowledge. Knowledge is very important. I'm telling about the book knowledge. So coming back to the collaboration, make sure I'll just end this answer with this small thing, that people having the sharpest knowledge and skills apart from your education is top one in the professional life career after your education is done. Coming back to education, coming back to collaboration, in the clinical background, as IDER is providing all about the technology, computers, and AI related education. We had a collaboration with Validus Institute. So we are going to provide clinical extracurriculum education in India now digitally, where students must not have been traveling to abroad to complete these courses apart from your education or extracurriculum skills. This is where the collaboration is done with Validus Institute, now also available at IDER Digital, IDER Tech Academy, and also been giving classes digitally. Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations to the complete team for the collaboration in IDER, also in US, and for the Validus Institute.
Thank you.
Now we have two perspectives. One is without a degree, you won't be getting a job.
Yes.
And the second thing is with a degree also, we are not getting paid enough to feed our family or to feed our desires. So how is that gap? And what do you think? How can we bridge up? Is degree important now or it is not important? And if we don't do it, what actually should be done instead of that?
Okay. So for this question, degree is important.
Okay.
Degree is important. Education is very important.
Yes.
Educated human is the top one in the room, I believe. Education is very important. But not only alone, education is important to a kid after his education is done, after 15 years or a master's 17 years. Take down as a master's is completed after 17 years. What is the student getting after the degree? Students are not remembering any answer script or answers after the degrees or the college life.
Okay.
Students are told to take this course, take that course by the friends, families, they are just taking it. Students are not following their passion, is my question to them and answer to them, that they're not following the passion. Example, if the student wants to become a doctor in 8th standard and student is telling that in the ambition chart in the school, what you people write down in Indian education system, that if he wants to become a doctor, after he doesn't know the problem struggling phases after his 10th, first PU, second PU or degree or doing the doctoring. He only know he wants to become a doctor. No parents, no teacher, no schooling is still telling him that the struggle and difficulties he's going to face until he complete his MBBS of 8 years. What about that? The student, isn't it like the student are going without the GPS map in the direction of route, in the success of path? The student must told in the proper way that if he want to become a doctor, if he want to become an engineer, if he want to become a businessman, or if he want to just go for a job, what are the difficulties coming down for the student? This is not taught in any college or schools. I want the young youth to learn skills for themselves. Education is, I'll tell the real fact of the students. You will not get up and go to the college by yourself. You're going with your friend. Your friend is not coming, you're taking leave. This is what the conversation I hear from these colleges and schools, the students what talk to me. They are going to their friends. Friend is coming, I'm going. Friend is not coming, they're taking leave. They are submitting assignments on the teacher's due date. What are you doing for yourself? What skills you have after your degrees, after your colleges, after your schools? 10th pass out student doesn't remember the answer sheets, the answers after 6 months or 1 year. That is the main problem what the young star students are suffering in today's date. As Oteibi ma'am told, that they doesn't show the practical knowledge of the professional life in schooling in any education part of the student. So we have brought down in clinical background that HIPAA is a digital course provided to the students. There is lot of skills in clinical background. We have HIPAA and RTC. But coming down to either and in locally located in Bangalore as and digital transforming human and providing them a technology oriented student as teaching them all about AI, all about computers. I am very sure the students are passing out with BCom and normal degrees, struggling to make a resume. This is a fact reality. I am not telling this. The student have told me this out. People are unable to make out the resume in the proper format. I just believe that student must be teaching in sense of practical knowledge also. This is where I give an answer for the question what you asked, Aasima.
Okay. Moving forward to what motivated you for the collaboration, international collaboration, and how do you see it as an advantage for today's youth in India?
Okay. So the collaboration is a big part for IDER and also for Validus. Being in a different country, international collaboration was the greatest part could ever happen. We have a lot of collaboration here locally in Bangalore and India, but having an international collaboration was a big part for both the institutes and also for the students. Students must know the importance of upskilling themselves in day-to-day life, understanding that the other than education, having the skills in day-to-day life and career oriented or professional background is most important, because the professional or any company is not asking them what answer script they wrote in the exams when they're coming down to the working professional life. They have been asked what skills you know in the particular field, whatever they are going to. So this is the big impact to the students, where student can learn digitally, where they may not travel to abroad or travel to any other country to do this kind of clinical courses. Now they can do it connecting either digital, either tech academy, where on digitally and getting the course done. That is a big impact to the students, people who understand in clinical background. Yes.
Okay. So that was very informative. So there is a gap between what classroom teaches to us and what the industry expects from us. So how do you understand this gap, and what information or what advice you have for people to do apart from the classroom? Apart from the classroom, how do they build their skills? Skills, they have to build their skills, but how can they build their skill is the question.
Okay. So as I told in the first question, that students are not sure about their dreams.
Yes.
They are completely dependent on their results. Students must know, or young youth must know, that what is their dream and what is their passion and what is their landing dream after 5 years. This is the first question to them, and they must be very sure about the professional career, what they want to be after 5 years. They must not change the track, because one day going to a workout or somewhere, you cannot build and achieve things. That has a complete a time period where you need to be doing, like over a night you cannot get anything. The simple answer, over a night you cannot get anything. You need to struggle behind that, and hard work is a hard work. There is no smart work or a shortcut. So the hard work you do for yourself, skilling up in your passion, is the most important thing.
Okay. So, what is that one message of advice you would like to give the youth today watching you? What impact would you like to actually leave on them?
Future is very bright. You must not wait for the time. Even ma'am told the same thing. Age is just a number. And you must not just wait for a time that you must complete the degree, you must complete the education, you must complete. Just trap questions to you, or you're trapping out around the people environment, that I want to focus the exams, I want to focus this. I am very sure, apart from any medical student, the commerce background or any other arts background students will not study every day. This is told by the students. They will not study every day. They only focuses before a month, before 15 days of the exam. I am very sure. This is not told by me. This is told by the students itself. They have a sufficient time where they can go down or skill up themselves every day and work hard in such a way that they must be the top one in the room. Because of not only degree, see, lakhs of people are passing out with the same degree, guys. But why will the companies only take you? If you are doing your own business, you must have the skills to balance up struggles, debts, bills, management. This is what you want. If you're going for a job, if you're going for companies, they will not ask your percentage end of the day. They ask your skills. They'll ask you what you will do to my company. Exactly. Even I'll ask the same thing to my staff, that what will you do to my company? I am not worried about their percentage or results. I am only worried about the skills they have and what betterment they can bring down. In today's world, you just hear that there's a lot of people getting cut off from the companies. Why? Don't worry about it. Learn such skills that companies must search you out. You must be top one, not in 90 or 80%. Top one is the most important thing. So the youth young has a lot of time in the degrees and PUCs, where they must train themselves, for themselves passionate for their dream job or career oriented thing. Doing your education is very important. I'm not telling don't do your education. There are a lot of people drop out degrees, drop out colleges, but they have massive knowledge and skills that is not being encouraged out. If a student is not studying, if a boy is not studying out, maybe he's not that strong enough to study in the college. He is having a lot of good skills in other thing. Encourage him up in that skill. Maybe he is the top one. Why are you pushing him in the wrong direction? Student must know the direction where they want to land after 5 years. That is, the young youth must understand this concept, and no college, school, or parents or your friends is going to tell you this. You must understand by yourself where you want to be after 5 years from today. I hope the students watching the podcast today will be very useful. The real genuine students who understand this, and they must know the struggle behind the professional life, have a big dreams to break the chain in the bloodline, be the top one in the families. Must start working yourself for your skills to be you, not for the company, not for your parents, not for your teachers, not for your education. Be you. Skill up yourself every day, learn something each every day, and be the best in the room, top one.
Okay, so I would like to end with the last question.
Yes.
You, as a young CEO, what change would you like to bring in the global education system today?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. And the last question, I want teachers, parents, or any professors or teachers to tell students what are the difficulties in professional life, because education is the first stage of 15 years of the kid. But what about after the 15 years? He is again struggling. He did his education with the struggle of assignments, exams, all this. What about again? He is going to step into the same title as a fresher, as I told before. Student must know what are the difficulties um, as he step into to the professional life. If I was knowing that I will be landing up here as a CEO of Eng, uh, I could have been learning from the 8th standard or 9th standard or 10th standard. But I was guided on the right path. Make sure be on one steady dream that you want to become this. You want to become this. There is no other option. Only then you are gonna take up the dreams very sure, seriously. If you want to become this, there is no option. You're quitting and going to other, jumping on the other path. That is not an concentrated work the students are doing. You're just changing your path away. If you want to become someone very big, make sure you imagine every morning, do that, work out on that. I am telling again, hard work has no shortcut. Once you do the hard work for 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, depending on the level of hard work you're doing, only then you have the smart work to be done. That is just told in the movies, that the directors, the owners, the everyone are just sitting and the employees are doing the work. That is completely trap. Don't believe the fact of this what you listen on the people on the movies and cinemas. You must work hard like day and night. Forget sleeps, forget food, forget rest. Only then after the 5 years your smart work starts. Understand this thing and make sure you work on your own self, not for your dad, not for your mom doing degrees, not for your family doing degrees, getting 100% of result. That is good. I'm not telling no to education. That is top one first priority to education. I am talking all about the skills. Where are your skills? Not only your answer script or result. I am telling you again, no company is asking your percentage. Hardly 1% of companies only ask your percentage. If it is in the education department, education field only. If you are going down to the IT or any other companies, they will ask your skills. They will not ask about the education. I will not ask about the formulas. I was very sure when I learned formulas in 10th standard, no one asked me till date. No company asked me, no, where I have used the formula. I just remember the formula. Hardly one or two. The fact reality. Hardly one or two you remember. In youth, for everyone, do you remember any formulas? Not the pass out 10th. I'm telling about the pass out 5-6 years of the 10th standard students. This is where I tell the students to be hardworking. Smart work is later on part. Hard work is the most important thing. And today's generation is very sharp enough to understand the concept what is being taught outside digitally or anywhere you go. So this is where I end up my answer with system, to be adding down one thing, that the student must know that the professional career is completely different from educational system what they give for 15 years or 17 years or 12 years. This is completely different when they are stepping into the professional life. They must know the scenario, they must know the vision The student must be knowing the vision before they step into the professional. That should not be a surprising moment. If it is a surprising moment, the student is again starting his new career, I believe, the new life, I believe. So this is the complete one thing I want to be bringing down into the education, where we do in either Tech Academy, we do believe that student may learn anywhere anything. Student may learn any technology related courses or AI courses anywhere, but teaching them into a systematic way and guiding them in the right path is the most important thing. Student passing out your exams and then figuring out what must your dreams and passion professional be. That is where I thank Majid ma'am for upcoming Validus courses, what we are bringing them either. It is already been trained with 11 students with either team itself, and been this Monday or Tuesday, as ma'am told, certifications will be provided by either to the students here. It's been very grateful moment for the people here who have completed their first batch in either for HIPAA course from Validus.
Thank you.
Ma'am,
Happy
would
to
you like to
collaborate
add
with
on
Aida.
what Mr. Yasin had said?
Can you repeat this?
Ma'am, would you like to add on what Mr. Yasin has said?
No, he said it perfectly. Like I said earlier, we want every student who's listening to this and their families, of course, to know that there's never a perfect time to act on your dream. If you have a passion, act on it immediately. Take advantage of the opportunities that we offer at Validus and at Aider. And at the same time, be true to yourself. What are your passions? Because we can only be successful and creative if we follow our passion. But of course, for that, we do need to have a structure, whether it's education, program, or anything of that nature. So definitely stay motivated and act on your dreams. And the other thing, actually, I want to add is for young students, because I see that, as a teenager, when I was a teenager and my kids, teenagers are always a teenager. So definitely enjoy your young life and being a teenager, but don't lose focus because time passes. So make sure that you're always focused to complete your, whether it's degree or training or anything that you set yourself to complete, because time passes quickly. So you don't want to have woke up late into the game, like we say in the US. So definitely stay focused, stay motivated and inspired. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to me or to either about any of those programs, or even just if you want to have any questions about career paths on anything. We're here to share our experiences, and I'm happy to share my experience and help guide the next generation, because the next generation is the future of either country, whether we're talking about the US or talking about India or other places. So thank you for having me.
So before we wrap up with the conversation, I would like to tell an exciting announcement between the Validus Institute USA and EdTech Digital India. So the main goal of this collaboration is not just partnership. The main goal is to provide more opportunities to students. And I would like to close this podcast with this. Stay tuned.
We'll be updating all the links and course related details in the description, uploaded video. Once it is live, this is live, the uploaded video will be done by the IDER team. The links and registration forms will be given down in the descriptions. I want young youth to understand the importance and join the academy or join any digital course for your bright future. All the best for everyone watching out today.
So stay tuned. We are going to be coming up with more podcasts like this. And thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good luck.